So what we have here today is a piece of asbestos. It's an interesting story how I found this piece of asbestos. It's actually still in a stone form, it's still a piece of stone. It hasn't been separated into fibers like you'd see most asbestos, that was used like commercially in insulation and wiring and stuff like that. I actually was going to an estate sale and I walked by this guy's garage and he had a lot of stuff that he had carved. And I looked as I was walking by in a trash can, and I saw this laying in a trash can with a bunch of wood scraps. So I walked up to the guy and I asked him, I was like, what is that? Why did you throw that away? And he's like, well, he had started carving this thing, and then somebody came by, the guy that he had got these materials for came by and told him he shouldn't be carving it because it's a piece of asbestos and it was dangerous. So he threw it away. And I thought, well, I've never seen a real true piece of asbestos before that was still in a stone form. And I asked him if I could have it, and he said, sure. So I took it home, and I cleaned it up a little bit, and I actually think that it's not really that dangerous in the stone form because you can't breathe it. But I still took a little bit of shellac and a can of spray shellac, and I sprayed it and put a couple of coats of shellac on it to protect it and stuff. So I'm not really sure what the carving is of. I've often thought maybe it looked like a reaper or an old man or whatever. It's kind of creepy though, because this type of stone has really caused a lot of death and stuff. So a little interesting history about asbestos is asbestos actually refers to a set of natural minerals, 6 different natural minerals and stuff that occur naturally in bundles and fibers, and the fibers can be separated into thin, threads. And they use these fibers because they're fire resistant and they're resistant to chemicals, heat, and they don't conduct electricity. Asbestos mining actually goes back over 4,000 years, and there's actually records of people being sick and dying from this. They go back to Roman times, so asbestos mining, it really goes back several thousand years, and it became more popular at the end of the 19th century as they started using it for insulation and on wiring, and they also put it in concrete and flooring and made countertops and gloves and fabric and all different types of stuff, with asbestos. But by the 1980s and the 90s, it had become heavily restricted and even banned in a lot of countries because it causes lung cancer, mesothelioma, and asbestosis. So a lot of people have actually died from it. So I actually you can see where he was carving, and it's got carved marks and chisel marks in the back of it, and I guess he was whittling it down when he realized that it was something that he shouldn't be actually working on. So it's not quite finished, but I think it's a cool piece, and I keep it around, and I don't believe it's dangerous like this. Actually a very beautiful stone. It's kind of hard to believe that something that looks like this could have caused so much death, and there's a lot of litigation still going on, people suing, and it's held up in different court cases and stuff, litigation for people that are still in court over different types of asbestosis and cancer and stuff that they've gotten from products they've used and from jobs where they've worked at and stuff like that. So it's caused a lot of money in the court system, and a lot of money to the government has been spent because of this stone right here. It's one of the most deadly things that you could ever imagine. I'm sitting here holding it in my hand, and I could have just left it in the trash, but I figured I would take it home and just kind of sit it on a shelf and stuff like that. And people walk by and they look at it and they're like, that's pretty cool, what is that? And when you tell them it's asbestos, you just don't see asbestos in a stone form like this. It's actually kind of like green. It comes as like different colors. You see it sometimes, you'll find it in browns and tans and stuff like that, but this particular one is like green, and it's got white veins and stuff kind of going through it, and it's kind of creepy. Barely kind of stands on its own like that. I wish I had asked the guy what it was supposed to be. I just don't know. It looks like a man with a long goatee, or maybe like a long flowing robe. A face, I can see 2 eyes and a nose and a mouth, and so I just thought maybe we would hit on this today and get a little look at what a piece of asbestos is in its regular form before it's separated into fibers and stuff like that, and that's just kind of what it looks like. So if you like this video, I'd like to ask that you go ahead on and subscribe to our channel, because we're going to be highlighting more items like this that are unusual, things that you don't get, really see too much of, and antiques and stuff like that. So just click the subscribe button on their channel, and I hope, maybe leave a comment or something and what you think about it, and that's about it.